And we are here.
Even if I hit ground zero or
So anyone who's watching, I have the incredible Fez with me, and we're just going to chat about Friend and music and songwriting. So do join us on this journey, and we're excited.
Even if I hit ground zero, the gravity of love is that you'll catch me.
I feel like I want to chat about how we started writing Friend and how it came about.
Yeah, that's a very good shout. I think I love that there'll always be two perspectives of everything we talk about, which is beautiful. I just know that we had in a diary to write. We were like, oh, we should write again sometime, And we were like, yeah, let's do it. Like the first time was great. And yeah, we were like, let's put it in the diary. And we didn't really have any conversations about like concepts or context. We were just like, let's just see what happens when we get there. And to the point of Friend, since we're talking about Friend, I actually found a voice note I did on 16th of Feb, which was in preparation for our session. Our session was, I want to be precise.
It was around then, wasn't it?
Yeah. I think it was, no. Yeah, Feb 17th. So
yeah.
The day before, if anyone's heard Friend, this one makes sense. If you haven't, you should go and listen, and then this would make sense. But I had this in my voice notes. Please don't judge, it's a voice note. Okay, right, cool.
Nice.
I know, how random.
That sounds like the verse, doesn't it?
Yeah. I was just like, I wonder what tomorrow could be about. And I always like to be prepared. So I'm always thinking about what this could do. And then, yeah, that's my version. What was it for you? How was that? So, I apologize, everybody. Apparently, I'm popular this morning.
Do you know what? I feel like you prepared more for this session than for the songwriting session than I did. Like I was like, I really want to work with Fez again. Just want to like, because you're such an incredible songwriter and it's very easy to write with you. But it's also like, it's good, hard work. Like you really want to think, like there's always weight to what we write, which is amazing. And so when I asked you to write, I was like, oh yeah, I really want to be intentional about this. And then because for Use Me, I remember I'd come with a song that I had, or a chorus of something I'd written the night before. This one I hadn't really had, there was lots of things I was thinking about, but hadn't really thought of anything specific. And then I remember that you said, I was thinking about how you said you're from Guernsey and how like what your thought process is when you travel to sing at different places, when you travel to go home, like what do you think? And I was like, oh wow, that really allowed me to think, how do I process on the plane on the way home? Like how does that work? So that was really cool to actually just start thinking about that, because I hadn't really given my thought process on the way to gigs in Guernsey any thought. So yeah, that was really cool to be able to like process that. And
absolutely. And what I really loved about that, I learned so much more about you, because for anyone watching this, as we write songs, Jem and I are becoming more and more friends. So it's actually us discovering each other in the process of trying to tell a truth in some sort of way. So I didn't know she was part of this, like she used to sing in the Superstar choir when she was younger. Did you know that? I didn't know that, but anyway, and she's been doing that from a very young age, and she's actually really well known in Guernsey. If you actually go there, and I'm pretty sure you meet someone that knows her. And I think that's a really important thing for everyone to keep in mind, that you're watching the Superstar and make it. Anyway, that's my opinion. Up to you what you want to take from it. But but that was really cool, because I know that kind of spurred the conversation of, you then mentioned how Use Me, how people from home had been, I guess, maybe just giving you feedback on how they felt about Use Me. Do you want to talk about that? Because I think that was really important to how we landed on Friend.
I think with Use Me, it really set the tone for like where I felt like God was like what he was doing with the music that we're writing. It kind of like I did an EP last year with some really good friends of mine from uni, and it was brilliant, but it was like definitely like we're all guinea pigs in it. We were all very much beginning, but that was it. That's like, you've got to start somewhere. And I'm still very much the beginning stage of all of this, but I feel like Use Me was such an incredible next step up in the single release world, the songwriting, the like working with other people, collaborating, especially the collaborating. It was, I've definitely had some words spoken over my life about like being able to bridge the gap between like people who know Jesus in there. Well, my thing about like my faith and what I really have a heart for is using my music to bridge the gap between people who know Jesus in their head but then like using the music so they can have a relationship with him in their heart, and using the music for them to encounter heaven, basically. And I think Use Me was such a great way to do that, because it's clearly, well, if you're a Christian, it's clearly about the Lord, and if you're not, you kind of wonder, and I feel like it leaves a question, but it's also the words that we wrote about is definitely the question of God. Basically, Use Me is about asking if God will use us as we are, and like an imperfect human being. And everyone, regardless of what faith they have, like will always ask that, like, can we be used? I've done this and this in my life, but God, can you still use me? And of course, every time the answer is yes, but it's just that I think it was really cool to be able to address that. And then when we started writing Friend, it was like just number 2 in the it was like kind of number 1 in the EP, but number 2 in the like process, because the vibes.
Absolutely. And I think we actually were intentional about it being in relationship to Use Me, because we started talking about, I remember a story you told me about a friend of yours that isn't a Christian saying that she really enjoyed Use Me. And that kind of kicked us off to like, why don't we talk about Friend? That is like a universal thing. Everyone has a friend, hopefully. If you don't, you can absolutely DM us. I am happy to be your friend. But and we started talking about Friend, and we were trying to put it in context of the only friend that sticks closer than a brother is Jesus. And how do we tell that story in everyday language, but from our perspective? And by our, if I'm honest, as a co-writer, especially with Jem being such a great artist, my kind of job is just to help her process the truth that she's already lived, but just to put it in a digestible melody that makes it enjoyable to listen to. Whew, that was hard to put together, right? But I think so. I was trying hard not to get in the way of that and to encourage it. And I think you started telling me about, I mentioned it already, but you started telling me about growing up in a choir, and that led to our verse, which I thought was beautiful. And I just loved, I mean, I felt like I really pushed for it, but maybe my memory doesn't serve right, but I just love the fact that it felt like listen to someone's diary, like, hey friend. It's such a, like, that's a WhatsApp message, or there's so many different versions of that you can see it from, which I thought was great, that in a Christian song, you can have words like we put in that song, basically. Yeah, for sure. And not to for people that don't really know how it works writing online, you're watching it, this is how we write online. Before we start singing melodies, or maybe everyone thinks it's like a massive jam session, it's 99% conversation. And I remember I was sat there like this, and I'm like average guitarist at best. I was just like, oh yeah, that's nice. Oh yeah.
I was like, yes, I can hear that. Yes, let's do that.
And then I started playing this like thing, and we just like kept singing over this very, very basic 2-note thing. Yeah.